Gigi Blankies proudly presents Musings with Steve and Teresa. They're here to enlighten, entertain, and inform about issues they think are important. They want people to think about how positive actions make positive people. Their show is captured and linked to YouTube. The programs are listed in the archives of both Blog Talk Radio and YouTube video, and you can watch it as well as listen. Now on with the show.
Hello everyone, welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Our show is captured and linked to YouTube. The programs are listed in the archives of both Blog Talk Radio and YouTube as Musings with Steve and Teresa. Links can be found on our Facebook page, and you can watch as well as listen. And strangely enough, we refer to our efforts as Musings with Steve and Teresa. I'm Steve, a co-host.
I'm Teresa, the other co-host.
We're here to enlighten, entertain, and inform about issues we think are important.
We want people to think about how positive actions make positive people.
Today we want to present a few stories. We're kind of unorganized, and before we get started on that, tell us about the blanky blanks.
Yeah, well, I'm nothing's really done yet, but everything's in progress. But I brought some more blanks today, and these are some of my different ones that I can consider a little fallish. And here we have there's a bunch of dogs. It's like it reminds me of like hunting or something. There's all kinds of little beagles and puppies and I had the back fell off. But then there's this one. I haven't got a name for it. It could be, I don't know, black flame. I don't know, brown flame.
Brown flame, yeah.
This one is lighthouses, all kinds of lighthouses, and then this one, starry rainbows, I guess we'll call that one. And these are all in progress. And also I'm working on different sizes and flannels and fleeces, and it's coming along.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, earlier last week we were talking with our associates about the definition of a miracle, and we define that as things that are outside the normal physical explanation, outside the analysis of reality. And the conversation continued with the idea that one could manifest. Mm-hmm. And that could be called a miracle.
Yeah.
And one of the suppositions says, what happened if we just walked out by the car and found a dollar bill? Would that be a miracle?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that one of us walked out and found the dollar.
Bill,
so,
yeah.
Small miracle.
Yeah.
Now, trying to compound it, bought a lottery ticket, and the dollar's gone.
Yep.
But it was a miracle.
Yep.
And we're shooting on the idea here that we're going to tell stories today, and the tired dog story caught my fancy. An older, tired-looking dog wandered into my yard, and I could tell from his collar and well-fed belly that he had a home and was well taken care of. He calmly came over to me. I gave him a few pats on the head, and he followed me into my house, slowly walked down the hall, curled up in the corner, and fell asleep. An hour later, he went to the door, and I let him out. The next day he was back, greeted me in my yard, walked inside, resumed his spot in the hall, and again slept for about an hour. This continued off and on for several weeks. Curiously, I penned a note to his collar. I said, I would like to find out who the owner of this wonderful, sweet dog is, and ask if you were aware that almost every afternoon your dog comes to my house for a nap. The next day he arrived for his nap with a different note pinned to his collar. He lives in a home with 6 children, 2 under the age of 3. He's trying to catch up on his sleep. Can I come with him tomorrow?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Mama with 6 kids, yeah, so she needs a place to sleep for an hour.
Right.
One of the answers to that years ago was to put the kids in the living room, and my mama sleeps in the rocker in the playpen.
In the playpen.
Yeah.
So they can't get to her.
There was another thing. Top 10 things you'll never hear a dad say.
Okay.
That Atlanta, or what's his name, does that on
Dave
the TV. Well, the 10th one is, well, how about that? I'm lost. Looks like we'll have to stop and ask for directions.
Choke me up.
Number 9. You know, Pumpkin, now that you're 13, you'll be ready for unchaperoned car dates. Won't that be fun?
Unchaperoned car dates. Yeah, right.
Number 8. I noticed that all of your friends have a certain up yours attitude. I like that.
That's true. You would never hear a dad say that.
Here's a credit card and the keys to my new car. Go crazy.
Yeah.
Number 6. What do you mean you want to play football? Figure skating's not good enough for you, son.
Mercy.
Your mother and I are going away for the weekend, says number 5. You might want to consider throwing a party.
Really?
Number 4. Well, I don't know what's wrong with your car. Probably one of those doohickey thingies, you know. That makes it run or something. You'll just have to have it towed to a mechanic and pay whatever he asks.
That never happened.
Number 3. No son of mine is going to live under this roof without an earring. Now, quit your belly aching and let's go to the mall. Number 2, what do you want to go get a job for? I'll make plenty of money for you to spend.
That's a good one.
And number 1, of course, Father's Day. Don't worry about that. It's no big deal.
Oh, it's a very big deal. Those were good, bro. He's got good writers.
Yeah. Why don't you read that one? That was pretty
Okay. Let's all babysitter. This is a good one, yeah. A young man agreed to babysit one night for a single mom could go out. At bedtime, he sent the youngsters upstairs to bed and settled down to watch football. One child kept creeping down the stairs, and the young man kept sending him back to bed. At 9 p.m., the doorbell rang. It was the next door neighbor, asking whether her son was there. The young man brusquely replied, "No." Just then, a little head appeared over the banister and shouted, "I'm here, Mom, but he won't let me go home." He didn't know whose kids were what. That's a good one. Yeah.
The couple was going out for the evening, and the last thing they did was put the cat out. The taxi arrived, and as the couple walked out of the house, the cat shoots back in, so the husband goes back inside to chase it out. The wife, not wanting to make it known that the house would be empty, explained to the taxi driver, "He's going upstairs to say goodbye to my mother." A few minutes later, the husband got in the taxi and said, "Sorry it took so long. The stupid thing was hiding under the bed, and I had to poke her with a coat hanger to get her to come out."
Imagine the taxi driver's face. Here, I got one. How many PhDs does it take to change a light bulb?
How many PhDs does it take to change a light bulb?
Even an infinite number of PhDs would be unable to complete the task. By the time they've discussed the various parameters involved, read articles on the advantages and disadvantages of the different types of bulbs, and argued as to which of them was most qualified to perform the task at hand, some poor grad student, tired of sitting in the dark with a bunch of idiots, would have changed the bulb herself. Yep.
Little 5-year-old Johnny was in the bathtub, and his mom was washing his hair. She said to him, "Wow, your hair's growing so fast, you need a haircut again." And he said, "Well, maybe you should stop watering it so much."
That's how Shane would say, "Quit watering it." Here's another one. How many skeptics does it take to change a light bulb? Well, 2 answers here. We have all of them and still they never see the light. Or none. They don't bother since they never see the light. Yeah.
Man went into the store with his 3-year-old daughter in tow, and since he was there to grab some essentials like milk and bread, he opted to save some time by not pushing a cart around. That's not the way Mommy does it, his daughter informed him. I know, dear, but Daddy's way is okay too, he said. Leaving the store in the rain and without a cart, he carried the bag of groceries, his daughter, and the milk quickly to the car. Not wanting to set anything down on the wet ground, he set the jug of milk on top of the car, efficiently whisked open the door with his now free hand, scooted the groceries in, and set his daughter in the car seat in one swift motion, and he hopped in himself. That's not the way Mommy does it, his daughter informed him again. Honey, there's more than one way to do things, he replied patiently. Daddy's way is okay, too. As he pulled out and headed down the street, he became aware of the scraping sound on the roof as the jug of milk slid down the length of the car top, bounced off the trunk of the car, splattered to the ground, sending a froth of white milk in every direction. In the millisecond he took to process his mistake, his young daughter looked at him and in his most serious voice says, "That's not the way Mother does it."
Us moms have a way.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Well, here, I got one for you. Why did the Buddhists refuse anesthesiology when having his wisdom teeth removed? I think I need mine out.
Let me rephrase that. Where is it?
That's right there.
Why did the Buddhists refuse anesthesia when having his wisdom teeth removed?
He
wanted to transcend dental medication. That hardly was worth the effort.
I got my tongue twisted around my eye too. I couldn't see what I was saying.
Try this one here.
Alright, when Dad came home, he was astonished to see Alex sitting on a horse, writing something. "What on earth are you doing?" he asked. "Well, the teacher told us to write an essay on our favorite animal." "That's why I'm here, and that's why Susie's sitting in the goldfish bowl." Oh, you got me going, I can't stop.
I like it when you laugh at your own jokes. In the handbook says you're not supposed to do that.
Well, I can't help it because sometimes they're just really funny.
Two kids were talking to each other, and one says, "I'm really worried. My dad works 12 hours a day to give me a nice home and a good food. My mom spends the whole day cleaning and cooking for me. I'm worried sick." The other kid says, "What do you got to worry about? Sounds like you've got it made." He says, "Yeah, but what if they try to escape?"
He did have it made. And you know, if you raise your child like that, it does absolutely no good for them when they're grown up. Oh, worms. Okay, a father was trying to teach his son the evils of alcohol. He put one worm in a glass of water and another in a glass of whiskey. The worm in the water lived, while the one in the whiskey curled up and died. "All right, son," asked the father, "what does that show you?" "Well, Dad, it shows that if you drink alcohol, you will not have worms."
For weeks, a 6-year-old lad kept telling his first grade teacher about his baby brother or sister that was expected at his house. One day, the mother allowed the boy to feel the movements of the unborn child. The 6-year-old was obviously impressed but made no comment. Furthermore, he stopped telling his teacher about the impending event. The teacher finally sat the boy on her lap and said, "Tommy, whatever has become of that baby brother or sister you're expecting at home?" Tommy burst into tears and said, "I think Mommy ate him."
Oh, you're killing me here today. Oh, a seagull. This is a good one. A 4-year-old boy and his father went to the beach. There was a dead seagull lying on the sand. The boy asked his father, "Dad, what happened to the birdie?" His dad told him, "Son, the bird died and went to heaven." The little boy asked, "And God threw him back down?" Crazy. I think this clock is off. It says in red 15.
I think our time is up.
Yeah.
Or it never got going or something. Well, anyway, we presented a group of stories and opinions without a script for the most part. Some are weird, some may be funny, and maybe you thought they were when we found them. No attempt was made at education. Our intent was to amuse and entertain, and we hope you find our offering amusing.
I was very amused.
Our mission on these blog talk presentations is to stimulate your thinking, prod your mind into new channels, pump up your interest in life, and rebuild your enthusiasm. Whether you're pro or con, we insist you join us as we
investigate,
evaluate,
and participate.
Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. I want to thank you for listening to our broadcast today. This program is archived at Blog Talk Radio, captured in the archive for YouTube video, and linked to Facebook as Musings with Steve and Teresa by date. Comments are welcome. We'll return with our continuing viewpoints next Tuesday. I'm Steve.
I'm Teresa.
Thank you for listening. Think positive.
Be positive.
Live positive.
Enjoy.
And goodbye.
See?
Gigi Blankies, thank you for listening to the podcast today. This program is archived at Blog Talk Radio, captured and archived for YouTube video, and linked to Facebook as Musings with Steve and Teresa. Think positive, be positive, live positive, and enjoy.